Today on the show, I'm pleased to invite a special guest, Faith Ashogbon, who is the founder of Pure Gold Foundation, a non-for-profit organization that focuses on helping youths, empowering them, and teaching them leadership skills to help them succeed. Here, welcome with me, Faith.
Thank you, Dami. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Faith. So we want to get to know who Faith Ashogbon is. To start with, for you, I know that you are an immigrant here in Canada who started something meaningful, something really pleasing, something that is helpful to the community. But we want to know, first of all, who you are and how this started.
Okay, thank you. My name is Faith Ashogbon, and I'm the founder of Pure Gold Foundation. So Pure Gold Foundation is a non-for-profit, youth-focused, community-based, and our goal is to empower and to equip youth ages 10 to 19 to have positive values, to have a growth mindset, and then to be grounded in their identity. And currently we focus on Black immigrant youth because of the peculiarity of lack of self-confidence. So this is my story. I came into Canada in 2017. Very excited, very like I was over the moon. I was coming to Canada because my thought was Canada was just next to heaven. And I came in with my they're teenagers now, but then they were younger. Then when I came to Canada in 2017, they was 11 and 9. And I had this mindset that, oh, I'm coming to give my kids the best of anything they wanted, like education and all of it. And that was my expectation. And when I came into Canada, I started seeing that it wasn't what I was thinking about. Like, it wasn't going the way I planned. And so it started from my kids come back home, and I'm so excited that, okay, how are you doing? How is this? And they're like, mommy, I don't think I can do it. Like, why? And so when I began to talk to them more, they're telling me, okay, they don't feel confident because somebody doesn't think they're not the same, or because they're looking different from someone, or because they feel so many things. So I think that was the beginning of my research. And my research was, okay, what are other people going through? So I contacted a couple of people in my community to find out, your kids in school, are they going through the same? And from the story, I found out that 90% of the kids that came in were struggling, having the same issue. And I knew that was a big problem. How do we solve it? So I didn't want my dream to die. My dream of seeing young people becoming leaders, becoming very productive. And that was how we came up with, okay, how do we help the kids? Because the major problem was lack of self-confidence. And so what that does, and what I see that do for my research, is when young people have issues with their self-identity, it brings up mental issues, depression setting, peer pressure comes in, because they don't feel they're authentic, right? And then this leads to a lot of crime rate that we have around, and will lead to addiction and all of that. So how do we solve the problem? So solving the problem, the answer was Pure Gold Foundation. Because Pure Gold Foundation is really focused on, we teach the youth, and one of the things we teach them is affirmations, who you are. We take them through the discovery of themselves, the uniqueness of themselves, whether their skin color, whether their personality, whether their values, or even their beliefs. So we want every youth to be confident that, oh, this is who I am. So that's what we do. Like our teachings are bi-weekly, and the bi-weekly classes that we have is basically training, teaching, mentoring this youth on how they can have a growth mindset. So the growth mindset in what we do is, I can become anything I want to become, right? And so we lead them and support them through that journey. And then positive values is, our values are integrity. So we teach them that you need to have those values, because the values will place you above everything. And so this is one of our slogan in Pure Gold. you have to stand for what you need to stand for something, or you fall for anything. So what do they stand for? They stand for the values. So the values of integrity, the values of respect, the values of leadership, the values of knowledge, and all of that. And then again, grounded in the identity is whatever you are, like, this is me, I'm black.
Right.
The uniqueness in my color, the uniqueness in what I believe makes me outstanding. So we allow the kids to flow in that mindset.
Right.
And so in Pure Gold Foundation, again, we create a community for youth where they can talk and feel free to express themselves without fear of being judged or being criticized.
Right.
Yeah, so basically what's...
That's amazing, Faith. And I was just wondering, when this was a dream, this was something you thought about, and then you started to put it into action because it was something that stemmed out from your conversation with your children. So did you have to go to school for this? Did you have to learn how to relate with youths? Because this is something that even their parents struggle with, especially with teenagers.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So my background is, I have a background in education, and during my education, I learned how to teach, interact with people, even adult, youth, curriculum building. So that also I leverage on that. And I also have a degree in curriculum development. So that is also like a tool for me. And then back in Nigeria, I was also engaged in youth ministry. So I taught teenagers for over 10 years. And so that was a very great tool again for me to use to develop all of this.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's very refreshing to hear that you've already had experiences with youths in the past. You've seen them grow. You must have had testimonies about some youths that you had worked with and how they had turned out with all of the training. So I want to hear more about your journey, about how you started. When did you start this?
Thank you. We started November in 2020, and that was the heat of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was, so when we started then, there was no restriction on meeting in person.
Right.
So I had 3 youth as at that time. They'll come into my house. My basement was a room for teaching. So we gather together, we teach, we talk, everybody interact, and that was so amazing. But at the heat of pandemic, when there were restrictions, we couldn't meet in person, and then we started going online. So from 3 online, we got to 10. From 10, we're 30. From 30, currently we have over 80
Wow.
kids in our program.
80.
Which are, and the good thing about it is we're not just reaching to kids in Moncton. So we have kids join us from Fredericton, from St. John, from Woodstock, because we're going virtually. So that's the good advantage of that. So one of the good things about our teachings, again, online, is the fact that the kids get so comfortable. Like when we started, they were kind of struggling because it wasn't something really common going online. But now they're really comfortable because they can navigate like the Zoom, or when we use Microsoft, the Teams account, they can always navigate it. They know how to share their screen, and they know how to do their presentations. And then because they feel confident again, like, so what we do again, we give them homework where they come back and then they present their topic. So they get so comfortable doing that over time and over time. And that is one of our main goals of building the self-confidence.
That's beautiful. It's really beautiful what you are doing with these youths. And one thing I discovered is how you take a problem and then you make a solution out of it. For example, you identified a problem with your children, and then you decided to create a program around them. And that grew from 3 children to now over 80 children. That is amazing. And then you looked at the problem that was caused by the pandemic, which restricted gathering, physical gathering. And then you also leveraged on technology online and also used that, which also helped. So it's just amazing the way you keep identifying a problem and then looking for opportunities within that problem. Last year, I recall that there was an event that was viral, especially among the immigrant community, among the Black community, and I was privileged to be there to attend, and I saw youths, I saw children dressed up really nicely. The young men were dressed up in suits and in ties. The ladies were dressed up. It was like a mini prom. And I was wondering, do you want to speak a bit about that event?
Yeah, thank you. So the Royal Gathering, like the name, is based on one of our mission of grounded in the identity. And so basically the identity is who they are. And it's beyond the skin color. It's beyond the dressing. It's really beyond your language or your accent. So the identity that we're addressing for the Royal Gathering is the identity of where you're coming from, and that's your royalty. So we tell our youth that they are royals, and that's what they are. And so if you ask Pure Gold youth, who are you? They tell you, I'm royal. So making them understand their royalty is making them understand their uniqueness and their authenticity. Authenticity, yeah. Sorry about that. Right, so that is it. And their originality. So their originality is based on them being royal. So when they have that at the back of their mind, like, what does it do for them? It gives them like the mind that, okay, I can do this. It's a mindset. So a mindset of not looking at themselves as being small. So that gathering that we had in December, that was our second one that we had last year, December. We had the first one in 2021, then the second one in 2022. It's about bringing the special people, these unique humans, people that can make a difference together. They are very creative people. We bring them together, and how do royals dress? By the name, royals. So we want them to dress like royals. And then they walk, they think, they begin to do things like royals. So what does that do for them? It boosts their mental wellness. That in all of it. So when we have kids over the year knowing that, oh, I'm royal, then it gives them a lot of joy, it gives them a lot of peace. It gives them the opportunity to think, right? It gives them a place where they can sit, and then they are creative. They can think of solutions like what we're doing in Pure Gold. Like they can bring solutions. So it's about the affirmation, telling them who they are. So that was the gathering is all about. So we come together, then we have the youth present. They do presentations, and they do it on their own. Like they sit down and they look for a project, which, okay, I can talk about this, I can do this, and then we come together. They want to have, and we intentionally do it at the end of the year, also to celebrate all our youth. Like over the years, we're always on Zoom talking, and then we come to celebrate ourselves, and then to celebrate our volunteers also.
That's so beautiful. So I also heard about the event that happened during the summer, and where you took some of the kids away. Do you want to talk about that as well? That's, I think, the summer event.
Yes, thank you. So the summer event was really a ask from our youth. And we did the summer camp to say, okay, you asked for it and we're giving it to you. So they've always wanted a summer camp, like, can we have something, we can go somewhere, you know, we can just away from home. And so when we planned that, we wanted them to have, at least to enjoy the summer. So one of the things, again, that we see with Black and immigrant youth is that when they come in, most people don't really understand, like, what happens in the environment. They don't get to connect with the community or even the community leaders. And that's one thing that Pure Gold is also trying to address. Because we want our youth to have a sense of belonging. So the sense of belonging and the self-confidence, I think, let me quickly talk about that. We have a survey because we want to do things based on the need of our youth. We don't do things based on what we think. It's based on their need. And during our survey, like, okay, give us the feedback. What are you struggling with? Right. So one of the things they struggle with, again, is that sense of belonging. Some of them feel, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Maybe why did I even come? My parents shouldn't have brought me, all of that. And so we're trying to make them have a sense of belonging, to connect with the community leaders and the community itself. So when we have the summer camp, it was a 3-day program, and we made it in a way that the first day, the community leaders were well informed and were well aware of the program. So to come and welcome the youth, which they did. It was amazing. Like the Minister of Immigration, Honorable Don Allen was there, and the youth felt, wow, like this really happened. So because most of them, they see them maybe on telly, maybe on Facebook and all of that. So they got to interact with her, they got to talk to her. We have Sherry Wilson also. She attended, and Sherry Wilson she's now the Honorable Minister for Women, Gender Equality, right? She was also there. So what is that doing for our youth? Is a sense of belonging. Okay, I think I belong to this community. Okay, I think this is where I am. I now feel that sense. And then also it was also a time for them to connect with each other. Because one of the problems we're also trying to tackle is social exclusion, where you don't feel like, okay, I'm just me, I don't have friends.
Right,
so
right.
That is a place for them to connect. So, okay, I have a friend, people that have the same value, people that I can look on, people like, so it was all about that. And all our programs, we are organized in a way that the youth, we are the ones like coordinating the programs. They talked, they arranged, they volunteered, like they had that leadership skill came out of them, and they were so excited. And one of the feedbacks that we had, like they told me, we don't want to go, it's just 3 days. Next time, can we make it 1 week? Can we extend it? So
oh my God, I feel like I'm having goosebumps right now, just sitting here listening to these amazing testimonies and stories about how much impact you have been making with these children. I mean, many may not know how difficult immigration might be or what the challenge is with immigration. There are so many reasons. And I know, at least with some information that I have, like yourself, you came into Canada as a skilled worker. A lot of people, or the parents of these children, came into Canada as a skilled worker or as permanent residents. And so it's not as though they were forced as such to come into the country, but yet they still face the difficulty of integrating into a new community. So to hear how much impact that this program has on the children is amazing. And on behalf of other immigrants or parents out there, I have to commend you and to say thank you. So you have spoken a lot about the work that you have been doing. Is this something that you do by yourself? Do you have volunteers that you work with?
Oh, in Pure Gold we work as a team. So we have like over 15 volunteers that we work with.
Okay.
And they're all working volunteers.
Yeah,
We volunteer based because we don't have the funding for to hire full time. So we have a board of directors. We have volunteers that teach the kids every second Saturday. We have volunteers that plan events and programs when we have one. Yeah, so we really volunteer based.
It was very informative and inclusive. There's a lot of people and I learned lots, so that was very good.
It was actually interesting because it was my first time and I was very, very into it to come and see what is going on here. So yeah, it was interesting, but it was very good after going through everything.
I learned about the banking. I didn't have that much information about it as much, about credit card and debit, so I think it was a very good way to learn about it, especially since I'm a student, and then when I'm older, it would help me and benefit me. So yeah.
I learned a lot of things I can apply later on in my life, such as credit card. I learned a lot about that, how student loans work out and stuff. And the RCMP, if I'm ever in trouble, they taught me about different numbers to call.
It was actually really good, really fun. We got to meet different people that could help us do different things like this, and it was just a really enjoyable experience in general.
First, I learned about credit cards, at what age you're supposed to have credit cards and things, and a lot of things too. So, and I also learned about police and all the stuff, and it was very inspiring seeing some of my age people coming here and present. So I found that too interesting. So, and I was like, oh, it's really beautiful what you guys are doing, taking youth and teaching them how to do this and that. So yeah, I learned that too.
How do you fund the organization? Do you need support to fund? Do you get the support that is required to fund?
Well, currently we fund the program based on donations. So when we have programs, parents of the kids will donate if they are able to. It's not like we don't force it on anyone. And one of our greatest challenges really has been the issue of funding. But because our focus is really to empower, to help, we try to go above that. So when we started Pure Gold, in 2020, 2021, when we have programs basically funded by volunteers. Volunteers will say, okay, we want to have a program. Okay, I will donate this, and that's how we do our program. Right. But now we're getting bigger. It was easy for us to fund a program where we have 20 kids. But now that we have over 80 kids, it's getting so demanding. And Pure Gold is getting bigger. So we don't really have a source of funding. And the challenge is this, and that's part of what our challenge is. So when we approach or when we write, like when we have I'm going to use the camp for an example. When we approach some organizations, it's okay, we have this wonderful program we've been here for over 3 years. We are making a lot of impact in the community because the impact is huge in the community. Yeah. We are reducing the high rate of addictions among youth and all of that. And they'll say, oh, we really love what you're doing, but you're not a registered charity. So that becomes a problem, yeah. So we get a lot of turned down because we're not a registered charity. And then we said, okay, what do? We approached a legal institution, like a lawyer, and said, okay, we want to get registered as a charity, to have a charitable status. And they come to say, okay, yeah, this is good enough, your bill is 20,000. Where do we get that from? So we're like, honestly, we can't afford that.
Right.
So that is a big challenge. So what are we asking for? Well, maybe currently having the charitable status might be one of our biggest goals, because if we have that, then people can willingly donate and then have their tax receipts.
Yeah.
Because some people don't want to donate if they don't have their tax receipt,
Right.
because we're just a registered non-for-profit and not a charitable status. So that becomes one of our biggest challenges.
All right. Well, you heard it all. They need all the support, all the funding. We don't mind getting a pro bono legal professional to support them to get that charity organization status. And if there is anyone out there listening, this is a lot of impacts that is being made by this organization and by these wonderful volunteers. Please reach out. If you have any information, any grants information, or any ways in which, any contacts or networks that can help and support this organization. Once again, Faith, I really want to commend the work that you are doing. I want to say thank you. Thank you to your husband, to your family for letting you go all the way, for giving you the support to go all the way. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Damit. Thank you for having me.